Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Scion again with another update video on the Black Pearl, and I also have a surprise as well. So with the surprise, it's gonna make the video pretty long because it's mostly gonna be about the the surprise that I have. So pretty much what's been up with the Black Pearl lately. I had to get it fixed because I took it to a place to get an oil change and they didn't change the oil, so my engine kind of blew and locked up on me and whatnot. So I was getting it fixed, but in the meantime, while I got it fixed, I had picked up another vehicle. For whatever reason, I'm just showing the inside of it. I don't even know why I am, but whatever. We're just gonna skip the Black Pearl now because that's the only thing that I really had to do with the Black Pearl. And the other vehicle that I decided to buy is a 2014 Scion FRS. Now, so what I'm going to be doing with the rest of this video, I'm going to be giving an in-depth tour of the vehicle and what I've done to it so far, and the reasons why I got it. So, the 2014 FRS. I'll just go ahead and start with the things I've done. I plastic dipped the emblems red all around. That's the 86 badge. And I need to get this thing washed. And there we have the back badge right there. And I also plastic dipped the rims black. At first I actually did the emblems gold and the rims like black and gold, but I didn't like it at all. So I was pretty much just playing with plastic different colors and whatnot, and I decided the black rims on it definitely suited it way better than what I had before, and so did the red. And I also tinted the windows. The sides are 15% and the back is 20%. Alright, now this is where I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to comment the video like, oh, why did you do it, and you're not a driver and stuff like that. But this is the auto manual. Now, before I go into why I bought it, first let me finish, my little things of what I've done to it so far. I pretty much did the emblems red to match the stitching in it because, pretty much everyone knows that the Scions have red stitch. Well, the FRS has, red stitching everywhere and on the, the seats right here as well. Now, why I bought the there it goes inside of it. Why I bought the auto manual is because, well, one thing that I've been doing lately, actually, I've been test driving cars, and I was actually between this car. I was at first gonna go for a 2014 Mustang. That's the start of 2015. And I was like, oh, I should wait on that. So I was, into the Mustang as well. I was also thinking about a Camaro and a Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Now, why I chose the FRS? I did take a day and I test drove the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. I test drove the FRS, and then I also test drove a Mustang in the same day. And me personally, the FRS just fit me the most. Not because of, its power, because it's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, sure it's, quick and lightweight, but let's be honest, on paper it's not that fast, and compared to the other options, it wasn't that fast. So, sorry about that, I'm putting the hood up really fast. So with that being said, I went with the FRS. Now, why I chose the auto manual transmission with the paddle shifters on the steering wheel, I'll show that really fast. There we go, with the paddle shifters here and here, is because I also test drove the manual and of course the auto manual in this car. And me personally, I really like the auto manual transmissions. Well, the ones that have the paddle shifters and whatnot. I was always a fan. In all honesty, my father actually had a Monte Carlo, and I don't know how, but he had auto manual transmission in there. And I don't know, I always thought it was cool. To those who actually know me and whatnot, they know that I'm a big fan of the Nissan GTR. You know, some people might also comment with what I'm about to say, like, oh, he's a racer and whatnot. You know, I don't care what you think. It's all about what I personally like. And I've actually driven a Nissan GTR before, and I really like the paddle shifters in there. And even though, of course, this is nothing like the GTR, it makes me think about it. And I also, you know, enjoyed the Evo 10s and whatnot, because I've also driven one of them, and I've used the paddle shifters in there too. So that's pretty much why I went with the automanual transmission. Now, for the in-depth tour. So this, of course, is the intake. I'm either going to swap out the intake or the exhaust system. I've already been looking up stuff. Okay, shout out really fast to subaruwrxfan. You know, check out his YouTube page and whatnot. He actually owned a Subaru BRZ, and he had weekly update videos, and they really helped me out with also making my decision with, you know, buying a new car. Because not only did I want, you know, a new car, you know, that's an upgrade from, you know, the TC. And by the way, the TC is now my daily driver. Not like it wasn't before, but now it's mainly my daily driver. But anyway, I also want a reliability, because I do want to keep these cars, because they're like, you know, my 2 first cars I've ever bought, you know, like my fun cars. So that's why, you know, I forgot my chain of thought, but whatever. So, but yeah, so I'm probably gonna swap out the intake, and I'm thinking about going with engine or pairing. I'm between the two right now. I'm trying to make a decision, but yeah, that will probably be one of my first swaps with this car. Next comes the Subaru WRXfan also had the SRT Swift Racing Technology header back exhaust system on it, and I really like that exhaust system and the way it sounds and whatnot. And yeah, I'm thinking about going for that one. And I'm also thinking about, you know, changing out the headers. I'm thinking about HKS or 86 headers. I don't know. It's all, you know, just decisions up in the air really. But pretty much the main thing that I'm focusing on right now is the intake. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the first thing I swap out. I'm also thinking about going with engine, also because, you know, I have experience with them before, because I have an engine cold air intake in my TC. So it just seemed like a logical decision. A lot of people don't show stuff like this. I do, because for some reason, you know, I don't know, people don't think it matters. So when they say you can fit, you know, it's actually a pretty good sized trunk and whatnot to be a, you know, legit sports car. Okay, so when they say that, they must be talking about when you actually put this down right here, because I mean, the trunk is about my arm length. Like, this is not a lot of room at all. Granted, you know, this isn't a car I'm going to be taking to, you know, Sam's Club or Walmart and stuff like that and buying groceries. But yeah, I don't know, but yeah, whatever. So pretty much the only thing I have, and all the cars that, you know, my family owns, we all have like tool sets in there, because, you know, you never know what could happen. This is like a little, you know, drink holder that came with it when I bought it. I didn't really give a hell about it, so I just put it in the trunk. Alright, so here we go on the inside of the car. Alright, so when you sit down in it, the first thing that really like jumps out to you are the seats. Like, the seats, they really hug you. And when that, well, you know, they're pretty much racing seats, so, well, it's got that styling, so they really hug you, and I really like that feeling. Like, that was a nice touch, you know. Another thing are the gauges and whatnot. I'll turn the car on while I'm doing this. I've actually owned this car for about a month now, maybe a little bit over, and I just was waiting to make this video so I could really give, you know, a really good review on this video, because I don't see a lot of people doing, you know, actual owner reviews on these. So as you can see, I've already put 1,349 miles on it. But yeah, so it's also the gauges, and then the steering wheel. I have pretty big hands, but this steering wheel feels really good. It's nice and thick, and I really like that feeling. You know, it gives off, like, you know, that race car feeling. Again, the paddle shifters are right here. Another thing that I like about the paddle shifters, so in the Evo 10, the paddle shifters are actually on the steering wheel column. So when you're, you know, turning, if let's say, you know, you need a shift or something like that, you kind of got to take one of your hands off and shift it, you know, down, you know, shift it up or shift it down and whatnot. It's on the steering wheel. You know, there's not many situations where you're actually going to be doing that, but you know, I kind of like that. You know, it's kind of cool. The pedals down there, they're like, you know, silver with like black inside of them. They feel pretty good. I actually have the Pioneer touchscreen system in my FRS. They did give, you know, the other option of, you know, just a regular plain system. They didn't have an FRS there with it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't buy this car to really care about the damn system. The only car that I have that I'm really gonna, you know, worry about the system with is my TC. I'm thinking about maybe putting a sub or something in there, because, you know, the quality could be a little bit better, but especially with that being my daily driver. But this car, I got this car, you know, for performance reasons, so I could really care less about this system. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice. It's nice. I really like it. You know, I enjoy, you know, the whole touchscreen and whatnot. But like I said, so far as this car goes, I could really care less. This, of course, is the shifter here. Reverse, neutral, drive, and right there, okay, there we go, the glare's away now. This is manual mode, so, you know, it enables you to use the paddle shifters and whatnot. One thing that I hear a lot of, you know, reviews talk about is, oh, the inside of this car, you know, is cheap with the fake carbon fiber and with these cheap, you know, gauges and stuff here. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Unless you're buying this car to be your daily driver and you want a luxury car, go out and buy a luxury car. This is not a luxury car. You know, sure, Subaru, you know, they tried to, you know, make it more luxurious with, you know, the leather seats instead of, you know, these seats like what Toyota gives you, and with, you know, the push button start and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, with the heated seats, you know, that shit is nice and all, but in my opinion, if you're buying this car, you're buying it because you want a car that's pretty quick, that's a sports car, but this car has insane handling. I love the handling in this car. So you're looking for a car like that if you buy this kind of car. If you want something more luxurious, buy a more luxurious car, and then, you know, buy FRS later, or a BRZ, or if you're across seas, a GT86 later. You know, you don't really need to buy this now, because obviously you don't want a sports car right now. You want a luxurious sports car, you know, or something like that. This is not one of them. I mean, you could tell from the price tag. By the way, this, you know, tested and everything. Like, I hear people, you know, oh, you can buy it for $25,000. Okay. With all these that I have, and I also have the fog lights and whatnot with it, it actually came up to about 27 grand. So it isn't, you know, it isn't bad. You know, it's in my price range and whatnot. So I was totally fine with it. You know, some people might not be, but yeah, an automanual transmission with the fog lights, the touchscreen system, the wheel locks, by the way, that damn cup holder was evidently $64, but it's Scion, so you can't bargain with the price anyway, so I just went ahead and kept it, of course, because yeah. But you know, all that stuff in here is gonna come to about $27,000. But in my opinion, that's not bad at all, especially for, you know, a sports car that's easily tuned and whatnot. Another thing that I really like about this car, I really like, now this is coming to the, you know, performance stuff and whatnot. I really like how responsive the steering is in this car. Let me turn this off. I'm burning gas for no reason. I really like how responsive the steering is in this car. the steering is so responsive that, like, let's say, you know, I'm sitting at a light and I can just go like this. The wheels actually move. Why that's big for me is because most cars with electronic steering, because that's what this car has electronic steering. The steering is not that responsive. This is very responsive, and I really like that. And I think, I know for a fact that has a lot to do with, cornering and turns and whatnot, with the handling, is that, responsive steering. So I'm very happy about that. Oh, by the way, another thing I forgot to mention before I keep going with the performance stuff is, so these seats, there's no room. Like, you're gonna have to cut someone in half. Like, Joe Swanston can, get in the back seat and sit there. Your mother or your little brother or your kids can't, because it's I mean, you can just look at that. Like, can I fit my finger? Okay, I can fit my finger in there, but that's about it. Like, there's no room whatsoever. Now, granted, compared to me, I do have some fairly, tall friends. I'm only about 5'9", 5'9.5". I have friends that are like, 6 feet to 6'3". They can actually, like, fit in this car and whatnot with not that much trouble. Like, the only time they have trouble is, getting out, because, the car is so damn low. By the way, that's another thing I like about this car. But, it, in my opinion, it's not that bad. But then again, I'm also short compared to them. Well, really short. But anyway, back to the performance stuff. So, of course, this car is a 2-liter boxer engine. I just showed the engine earlier. But it is a 2-liter boxer engine with 86 bore and stroke. If you don't know what that means, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is not the video where I explain it. So you're gonna have to either look at another video or look it up yourself. I hate to be that way, but I'm being honest. Anyway, and I really, really, really like the fact that they went with that with this car, because having that really low sitting engine really helped out the aerodynamics on this car, because this car is also insanely quick. And I know that has a lot to do with, it having little to no drag. It also has a very amazingly close to 50, percent ratio and whatnot. Well, weight distribution and whatnot. So, and I really like that too. By the way, one of the reasons why I went with the FRS instead of the BRZ is I said something about all the options with the BRZ earlier, and because the BRZ can actually, come in close to, $35,000. Honestly, I would not pay that much for this car, because again, it's not, this is where the power comes into effect. It's not that fast of a car. It's only 200 horsepower, 151 pound-feet of torque. It's about 176 horsepower to the wheels. It's not fast at all. So, me paying $35,000 for a car like that, well, like this, I wouldn't do it. With the heated seats and stuff like that, I wouldn't do it personally. Although this car is really quick and fast. I've done one race in it so far, but it was just like a little, for fun race. I had my buddy drive the TC over there, and I took the FRS. The FRS, it almost lost, honestly. Well, sort of, kinda. So, coming off the line, the TC was about 3 car lengths ahead of the FRS. Then, and it was like that for, pretty much halfway through the race. We did a quarter mile. Then, out of nowhere, the FRS, the torque kicked in, and it beat the FRS. The FRS beat the TC by about 7 to 8 car lengths. But in my opinion, that's to be, brand new 2014 car, 07, lightly modded TC. TC only has an exhaust system, of course, new rims and tires, and an intake. Even though, that, if you want to nitpick, gives it an advantage, really. It was still pretty much too close for me. I thought the FRS was gonna take it from the start. You know, it was gonna start off strong, and of course end strong, but it didn't. Either way, you know, FRS still won. But yeah, I'm supposed to be racing my buddy with the Mustang, by the way. I don't put a racing videos, unfortunately. I mean, I might one day, but unfortunately, I don't put a racing video, so you're not gonna actually see the race. But I will give you, you know, an update video on it, like, oh yeah, the FRS won, or oh, unfortunately it lost. In my opinion, I think it could win. It might not, but you know, it's whatever. But anyway, bottom line, I really like the FRS. Granted, I've driven faster cars. I've driven 370, 350Zs. Like I said, I've driven Evo 10s and GTRs and Mustangs and whatnot, and Genesis Coupes, and all different types of cars, BMWs, Acuras, all different types of cars. Honestly, out of all those cars, this car, you know, of course, in my price range right now, really fits me the most. And I'm really happy, you know, I bought this car. Subaru, Toyota, good job with, you know, creating this car. I pray that in the future, you know, the car can keep the handling that it has, but, you know, up the power in it, you know, at least a little bit. Again, I'm going to be doing mods to it, so that's going to up the power. I'm not going to be doing anything heavy like putting in a turbo and stuff like that. I'm going to be honest with you. Not only do I not have the money for a turbo and stuff like that, I want to keep this car. Sure, turbo, you know, with a turbo, you don't necessarily, you know, your car isn't necessarily going to break, but it's definitely more of a possibility when you have a turbo. And I mean, with how hard I run this car, I just don't want to do anything like that. And plus, if I turbo a car, honestly, the car is going to be a manual and not an auto manual. If I turbo anything, again, it's going to be a manual, not an auto manual. This car will never get a turbo in it. Unless I go out and buy another FRS that's a manual, yeah, you're never going to see me in a turbo, you know, FRS. But, you know, I really like this car. Yeah, and pretty soon I'm going to start putting up more update videos on it. And with that being said, this is Keon here. Thank you for, you know, watching my videos. Please subscribe. To those people who watch this video who, you know, like cars but who also do other things like dance and sing and whatnot and actually do that. So please support, or if you just, you know, want to support me, please support me and subscribe, and, you know, watch some of my dancing videos and my singing videos as well, and just, you know, my out of the ordinary, random, and just funny videos as well. Yeah, this is Keon. You know, thanks for everything. I'll put a link for Subaru WRXfan's YouTube page. And yeah, thank you to Toyota and Scion for, you know, making this car. I really enjoy it. And yeah, so that's it. I can't figure out how to turn this camera off when this is backwards. Okay, this is awkward. Oh, there we go.